Heute geht es im Studio der Gesundheit.
Today in the Health Lounge studio, we're talking about NADH, about nitric oxide and the elimination of viral infections. I'm joined in a live stream by Professor George Birkmayer. Hello. A very good day to you, Ms. Rinneberg. You're the discoverer, inventor of NADH, the therapeutic effect of NADH. But what exactly is NADH? NADH is the biological form of hydrogen. The more of it the cells in our body have, the more energy they produce, allowing them to live longer and function more efficiently. However, in order to give our body more of this natural fuel for cellular energy production, it needs to be administered in a specially stabilized form. Professor George Birkmayer has succeeded in doing this as a result of decades of research. The Austrian scientist is regarded as a leading international expert in NADH. The effect of his NADH formulation has been proven in numerous studies, and the researcher enjoys a worldwide reputation in oncology, neurology, and anti-aging medicine, with his guest professorships and lecturing activities in North America, Europe, and Asia. NADH is a naturally occurring substance in the body and provides the fuel for cellular energy production. The more NADH available to a cell, the better the cell functions. And NADH has a wide variety of biological functions. I want to briefly list only the most important of them. It's the fuel that powers the production of ATP, which stores energy in the cells. It repairs damaged DNA and our damaged cells. It is one of the most powerful biological antioxidants. It stimulates our neurotransmitters, adrenaline and dopamine. It supports the immune systems. And last but not least, it increases the production of nitric oxide. And what is nitric oxide? Nitric oxide, also known as NO, is an important signaling molecule involved in the function of almost every organ in the body. It transmits, for example, information from one nerve cell to another. It has the characteristics of a neurotransmitter. One of the most important physiological effects of nitric oxide is the relaxation and dilation of the blood vessels. This allows more blood to reach the organs. More blood also means more oxygen and more nutrients, and therefore improved cell function. NO, or nitric oxide, is formed in the body from the amino acid arginine by the enzyme nitric oxide synthase, and the coenzyme of NO synthase is NADH. The primary localization of nitric oxide synthesis is the blood vessels, specifically the inner layer of the blood vessels. NO dilates the blood vessels, thereby improving blood flow to all organs, especially the heart. In this way, nitric oxide lowers the blood pressure and in the immune system plays a role in the macrophages as part of the immune response. And this group of leukocytes, the white blood cells, they eat bacteria and the cells that have been infected by viruses and dispose of them as cellular waste. That means the macrophages eat infected cells and eliminate them from the body. Nitric oxide is therefore an effective component in the neutralization of viruses. Specifically, virus replication is inhibited both by the induction of the enzyme nitric oxide synthase and by the production of nitric oxide, which is controlled by this synthase. And that has been demonstrated for a range of viruses, such as dengue virus, Coxsackie virus, influenza virus, cytomegalovirus, and also for coronavirus. I'm sorry to cut in, but are there any scientific studies on this? Yes, of course there are studies. And the question is also whether we are able to stimulate endogenous nitric oxide production, because that would be decisive. And the answer is yes, we can. Through the formation of NO from the amino acid arginine, i.e. a naturally occurring amino acid which is converted into nitric oxide by the enzyme nitric oxide synthase. NADH, the coenzyme, plays a decisive role in this. And Professor Malinsky in Ohio is the only one who can measure nitric oxide because it has a half-life of 1/10,000th of a second. And he has shown that nitric oxide synthase can be increased 10 times more with NADH than with any other substance he has tested. In other words, this means that a combination of arginine and NADH also works to produce NO. And it's interesting that one Dr. Ackerström in Sweden showed with his research group that NO restricts the replication of coronavirus in patients, and does so in patients who have suffered from a severe acute respiratory syndrome induced by coronavirus. In other words, and this is important, Dr. Ackerman tested and checked coronavirus back in 2005 and developed an effective therapy with nitric oxide. So they'd actually discovered an effective form of protection against any kind of viral infection back then, had they? Yes, but they didn't make nitric oxide from NADH and arginine. They simply used laughing gas. Laughing gas is nitrous oxide, and they used it to cure patients with severe lung diseases. But the point is that they knew about coronavirus in 2005, and I have to wonder why a vaccine wasn't developed. And there is a preparation called Vision, which contains arginine and NADH, and has been shown to increase the production of nitric oxide in the body. You are welcome to read about this in my book, NADH, the Biological Hydrogen, The Secret of Our Life Energy. So I would have to, if you like, simply raise my nitric oxide production, my levels, then I'd be well protected. Is that the long and the short of it? In brief, you could say that a combination of NADH and arginine increases nitric oxide production, and therefore has a therapeutic as well as a preventative effect. Thank you very much for the conversation. I wish you all the best, and stay healthy. Thanks. You too.